Hey everybody out there in Facebook world. This is Barbara Hort, host of I Am This Woman. So excited to be here with you again. This is total love, awe, excitement for me. And I think I'm most excited about is this. It's making a decision to do something and then going with it full force. Not stopping, not delaying, not worrying about what other people are saying, and just jumping in. So what is I Am This Woman? I Am This Woman is, right now it's a show. It's a show introducing women to what's going on. And we have different guests that come on and speak about what's happening in our world. I Am This Woman is also going to be so much more. I have an amazing group of individuals who support me and really encourage me into what I'm up to, what's going on. And no matter how many times I come to them with, I want to do this, they're like, yes, yes. And that's what you need. You need to surround yourself with people like that. So keep on paying attention to what's happening. I Am This Woman is going to be doing so much more. I'm excited to announce I'm going to be on 2 different podcasts next month, introducing I Am This Woman and letting people know what it's about. And if you are a woman out there, and even if you're not a woman, if you're someone who says, you know what, I have a story to share, I have something that I really would believe that could support other women, then I want you to come onto the show. You can email me at barbara@iamthiswoman.com. And if you've watched it and you're thinking, I would like to come and sit in this chair, comfy chair here, please reach out to me, send me a message. I think it's really important to do that. So one of the things we always do is we kind of talk about, I really want you to know, like, what about this I Am This Woman? And I say it this way. It's encouraging women to see their truth, their vision, and their greatness. Encouraging them to decide, to engage, and to create. It's saying yes to yourself, and it's saying, yes, I am this woman. Now, I am really super excited about my guest this week. Guest number 4, which is incredible. So her name is Yali Giovanni, and she's an author and activist to youth mass incarceration, a trauma incident reduction specialist. She is a domestic violence survivor. She is passionate on helping youth and sharing and what is plaguing in low-income communities and what she believes creates the school-to-prison pipeline. And I think this is such an incredible thing because there's one thing I know. I can come on here and talk about what happened on the Super Bowl. I can come in here and talk about what someone's wearing. What we really want to do is we want to make a difference that what's going on in our world. So everyone, here comes Yali! Yay! Hi!
Hello.
Hi, honey. Mwah. Oh my gosh. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
And we have tagged you so it can show up on your page also.
Awesome.
Yes, yes. So this is interesting because this school to prison pipeline, when you mentioned it, I was like, school to prison pipeline?
Right.
Like, what the heck is this? I did some of my own research because
Right.
I had no idea. So tell us about what is this thing and then how in turn, because of it, you decided to create Breaking Barriers, which is her nonprofit
Yes, it
organization. So please share with us.
Well, the school to prison pipeline, the bottom line is reading. In 3rd grade, children are tested, and based on their results and their scores, it is projected whether they're going to graduate and become or just flow right into the prison system. And that is the pipeline that we talk about, school to prison pipeline.
So in 3rd grade, which when kids are, what, about 7?
7.
Yeah, 7 years old.
Yes.
Imagine at 7 years old that someone has decided that your child, almost the direction that your child is going to take.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. And so because testing, if you do a little more research, as I'm sure you will, when you realize that now we're testing, we're teaching testing and not teaching to educate, to learn for comprehension. We have a lot of children in the school system that don't know how to read, but yet they're passing grades. So how in 8th grade we have children, multitude of children that cannot read? That is a problem. It's an epidemic. So when you can't read, you get frustrated. Then guess what happens?
Yeah.
You go right into the pipeline of the prison.
Right.
So it's inevitable at that point. They're frustrated. They don't want to learn to read because their peers, they don't want their peers to know that they can't read. And if their peers know that they can't read, then, they become...
Right, they become a victim. They become bullied.
Bullied.
Right, because kids bully.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my God, they bully for anything.
Anything.
Right. I don't like those earrings. That shirt
Right.
you're wearing. What are you doing? You're
Yes.
not wearing the name brand.
Correct.
So I can't even imagine
Yes.
what frustration it is if you can't. I know adults that when they are asked to read something, if they make a mistake, how often do you think about it?
Right.
Over and over and
Often.
over. Right. So I did a little research because, okay,
Great.
so it says school to prison pipeline. This is really interesting.
Yes.
It says because of the zero tolerance discipline, right? That in schools we have the zero tolerance, and I get it. There's a lot of stuff going on in schools.
Correct.
But the zero tolerance is not whether you could do a little infraction or a big infraction, and then they sometimes expel you,
Correct.
put you in a special, room or something like
Correct.
that. And honestly, it's interesting too because it says also that our black students are facing even a harsher punishment.
Absolutely.
And I think also when we start to look at inner cities in certain schools when they don't have everything that they need, right? That it's almost like they're set up to fail.
It's not almost. They are set up for failure.
Yeah. And then I started going that the suspension and expulsion, like kicking them out of schools, and then what happens is it's like this happened, then this happens, and this happens, and that is a scary situation to think about, the kids that are in prisons and how this is happening.
Right.
So what made you decide, what had you get into this?
Interesting story. I had a dream that I was at a school. At the time I wasn't working at K through 12. I was working higher ed. And I kept having this dream, recurring dream for 4 days. On the 4th day, I made myself remember the dream. And I remember this one particular person in the dream. So when it did happen, I was introduced to the person, and then I got to the school, and I'm having a conversation with this particular teacher, and I'm like, deja vu. So in that moment, I said, okay, God, of course it wasn't out loud, but I said, okay, God, what is it that you need me to do here?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was open and allowing for my purpose to fluidly come out. And I realized that, okay, I have a heart for boys, and I have a heart for teenagers. And my focus was more on the high school side versus the elementary side. And so that's what I did. I focused on what they needed. Oftentimes, teenagers, all they need is an ear.
Yes.
That's it. You give them the ear.
Right.
You inspire them to do whatever it is that they want to do, and they'll take off.
Just
But
someone to listen.
That's all they need. They don't need the Jordans. Of course, they'll need it because they need to fit in.
Right.
But as far as meeting their emotional needs, that's all they need is for you to listen to them and encourage them. And I realized that, okay, God, you're funny.
He is. Oh my gosh, I say God is funny all the time. He. When I laugh because I'm like this, I was telling a friend, I'm like, I'm gonna do a talk show, and I'm like, God, you're so funny.
Yes.
You're so funny, and this is awesome because I love that you set your dreams and what you create, and then like God does have a way of saying, "Oh, here you go."
Here you go.
So what made God funny, and what did He tell you to do?
So I'm sitting in my office this particular day, and this young lady walks in, and she's like, Miss Franklin, I need you to teach a class because you're the only one that understands us. And I'm like, I'm not a teacher, baby. And she's like, well, I need you to do something because you're the only one here that listens to us and that can understand us. And I was like, okay, let me think about something and I'll get back to you. At that time, it was a Friday, so I was like, I had the weekend to think about it, and I prayed about it. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Sure.
So I prayed about it, and within that following week, why don't you create an after-school program, an after-school something? So I said, okay. So she came back. Miss Franklin, did you think about it? I was like, yes, I did.
I love that she came back.
Yeah, no.
I love. Now these are our teens here.
Yes.
I think this is really important to understand. Our teens are they're literally dying for us to do something.
Absolutely.
They are.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
And and I love that you're like, you're not a teacher.
Right.
And so you created an after school program.
Yes.
Of course you did.
Right. But I'm not a traditional teacher.
Yeah, you don't have, okay, so you don't have the piece of paper that says you're a
Right.
teacher. And I think what's happening nowadays is that we keep on relying on our teachers to do everything.
Right.
They're struggling as it is.
Big time.
I can't imagine having kids in the class. You're trying to worry about
Yeah.
what's not just teaching them everything that they need to know, but also whatever's going on in their life.
Absolutely.
So you have an after school program.
Yes, so I created the program, and so I say, listen, I created this. If I'll commit to you as long as you commit to me.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So she gathered some folks. We were meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays. We talked about anything and everything under the sun in that room.
Yeah.
And our mantra was, "We're better than the hype."
We're better than the hype.
Yes.
Whew.
Right? Because society tells you you're nothing.
Yeah.
But you know that you are something.
You're
You are
better
something,
than the hype.
Right? And whatever we discussed in that room stayed in the room. It didn't matter what was discussed, how it was said, and who said it. It stayed in the room because confidentiality meant everything.
Right.
And they knew that with me, they could share anything.
Wow.
They have shared stories with me that broke my heart.
Yeah.
But of course, I couldn't show that at the moment.
Right.
But when I'm driving home, I'm crying, I'm sobbing, like, oh my God, I can't believe this kid is going through X, Y, Z.
Right.
Right? But they knew that I wasn't going to repeat it. And that's important for teenagers. If you have a teen, know a teen, please have them understand that they can share anything with you, and don't repeat it. Don't repeat it, because once they hear it back, they won't trust you and they won't open up.
Yeah.
And that's key.
It's huge. And I remember when my son was growing up, I always told him he could share anything. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
And he did. He did. And sometimes I kind of twitch, and I can't wait for the day that he has a child so I can remind him of these things. But I think it's so important. And I love that you said that you created a space where they can share anything. Where they know that they were safe, where they know that they were able to really get out there and put it out there. Because if it's festering in here, if you get it out, and they wanted to share. They wanted to share.
That's key.
Now, I remember you, and I read it and I mentioned that you were a domestic violence survivor.
Yes.
How does this play into what you are doing for these kids?
Unfortunately, a lot of our kids are also going through domestic violence. And I would have never thought that my experience would be helping someone today, especially teenagers. We seek love, we find love, and we commit to bad behaviors. And that's at any age. But I am able to share my experiences and share the way out without compromising who I am and compromising who they are, or compromising their life. Because domestic violence is a serious epidemic that we really don't pay attention to, because it used to be the norm. You beat your wife if she doesn't listen.
Right.
You understand?
And to the point that police and others just was like, oh, this is just a family issue. She wasn't listening. And I think what's really interesting to me is that the domestic violence, or the violence that's happening with our young girls and young men when they're in relationships.
Correct.
And we have, it is so interesting that it's younger and younger and younger.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. And I think the fact that you went through this, I always say, we don't know the path that we go on, but now we can look where I'm here. I can look back and say, oh, because of this, I had to.
True.
So I love the fact that you've done this. So you started this after school program. Kids are in there. They're talking. They're sharing. What impact are you making on these kids' lives? What's happening? What changes are coming up?
It's interesting you asked that.
Yeah.
I had more than one, but I had this particular team that had no clue what they were going to do after they graduated high school. Absolutely no thought whatsoever. And to know that he is planning to open up their business, they're actually, I don't give them what to do or tell them what to do. I allow them to research. So they'll bring the idea to me. Okay, so then I start asking questions that'll make them think.
Right.
I already know the answer.
Right.
But they gotta think, and
because when it comes from them, then it becomes part of them.
Absolutely, they own it.
Yes,
they own it.
Yes.
So now they're researching. Hey, I have this idea with this. I want to do this. Hey, what do you think about it? What is your gut saying? What is your heart saying? Okay, follow your gut. Oh my God, Miss Franklin, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's
yes.
my girl. That's my boy. Proud because I'm impacting lives. That means they're not going into the system. They're not a product of the system, and they're not going to be locked up making 2 cents an hour picking tomatoes for another major corporation.
Right.
And that's my goal.
And this is something I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the budgets for prisons have doubled.
Absolutely.
Doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Because prison is big business.
It is.
And so when you're saying 2 cents an hour, you have a company that's making millions. Guess what? It is up that prison. I wouldn't be surprised if we go further back that it is being sponsored. It's being paid for by these companies. It is. I mean, these are private prisons out there
Absolutely.
also. So you need those people that are in there. Mm-hmm. And I love that what you're doing is you're saying, okay, you know what? Yes, you might be having some trouble at school or at home or what's going on. Come into this program.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We're going to listen. We're going to care.
Right.
We're going to show you something different.
Right.
How is it possibly impacting their families also?
Listen, when I have moms call me, oh my God, you are a blessing to us. I am so grateful to you. You know, and they call for advice or, you know, they just want to let go.
Yeah.
That makes me feel amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think also one of the things about it is that the reason why I want to do this is because I truly believe that when women are impacted,
yes,
they impact their family, their community, and the world.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of times, these are young moms. These are moms who have gone through so much stuff.
Absolutely.
And we don't even come close to realizing what is happening. We don't. And that's the thing about it, is that when you're impacting this child, they're taking it home.
Absolutely.
So you are changing the dynamics of the home.
We are.
By doing the after school program.
We are.
So you didn't just go and say, I'm going to do an after school program. You went a little bit further and you decided to do a nonprofit.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay. So.
Tell me about it because.
Yes.
Hold on. You know, I know. Tamra. So Tamra is listening and watching. Mm-hmm. Tamra has a teen program called Extreme Teen Leaders. Mm-hmm. And it is an incredible. My 2 nephews are in there. Yay. It's an incredible program that helps the kids with really seeing themselves, stepping out of everything that everything they're going through. It is incredible. When she comes on the show, you have to meet Tamra in the first place because you will.
Yeah.
And Tamra, this young lady you have to meet. And so I love that she's here watching this.
Yes, Tamara, thank you.
Yeah, and because let's talk about this nonprofit, and then let's talk about why I'm so excited about this nonprofit too, because I just think it's incredible. And as a mom, as an aunt, as you know, as also someone who's wanting to make a difference in this world with young people, I think it's so important what you're doing. So tell us about the nonprofit.
So Breaking Barriers is, as you know, an after-school program. Originally started for boys, and then we migrated and integrated young ladies. Of course, I wasn't going to say, no, you can't come to the program. And we journal. We do yoga. We do acro yoga. We have on-site and off-site field trips. We go to college tours. We go out for dinners. We do everything. I use my personal funds to create the program. However, while at the same time, we needed funding because college tours and those stores are expensive.
Right.
Because they need housing, they need everything. And so people wanted to donate. And I'm like, okay. And I struggle converting everything into a nonprofit. I did.
Don't we always struggle?
I struggle with the idea.
It's, you know what, people are willing. I work for a nonprofit.
Yes.
So people are so willing to give, but sometimes you have to show them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And you're making a difference.
Yes.
The child that you pull off the street might be the one who would have shot someone.
True.
So you're helping to make it better. So I love this. So you've now taken an after-school program on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes.
you're creating them to be able to see colleges, which they might have never done.
Correct.
You're taking them to a restaurant maybe that they would never even go to. How to, just to put themselves out there, right? Mm-hmm. You're taking them on field trips. You're showing them things. Mm-hmm. So, what's the nonprofit called?
Breaking Barriers.
Breaking barriers. I love it. So, the reason why I'm so excited about Breaking Barriers, and I think it's such an powerful thing, is because I am honored and humbled to be one of the individuals on the board of directors.
Yay!
And this is what happens when you also create connection.
Correct.
Because I've worked for a nonprofit, and sometimes I wonder, why am I working for this nonprofit? Mm-hmm. Why is this happening, right? And what was really interesting is that I was able, when we sat down for lunch one time, for dinner, I think we were there for 2 hours, 3 hours. We were just talking. Yeah. But from the things that I learned, I was able to go ahead and talk about some of the things for the nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And then it was really wonderful because you invited me to be on the board, which I'm so excited to take Breaking Barriers and continue to break the barriers, continue to make the difference, continue to do this, because you are really, this is when I say I am this woman. Like, you are this woman.
Oh, thank you. I am that I am.
Yes.
I am that I am.
You are. And these kids, and what I love what you said is you started with the boys.
Yes.
But then the girls were like, well, wait a minute, we want this also.
Yes. They were like, really?
So do you have, because this is interesting, because now you have boys and girls.
Yes.
And the interaction between boys and girls and what goes on and how to change that dynamics, how to respect each other.
Correct.
So what else is it that when you're in these after school programs, what do you teach? What do you share?
We have discussional pieces. Each week, they are able to say, hey, they have a theme. We have a theme. We have whatever they want to discuss for the day. And oftentimes, like now, the boys are really protective of the girls, vice versa. So if they're dating or thinking about dating someone, they want to know who it is. They're checking the Instagrams, the whatever grams the kids have. Right. No, you can't date him, or no, you can't date her. No, can't take you to your future type of, Like,
wait a minute. Whoa. Can't take you to your future.
Yes.
Just to let you know, I think we need some breaking barriers for adults, because this is the thing.
Yes.
I love that your kids will say, wait, look at this. How about, you know what? I want to tell you, my sister, if I see you do it, like, no.
Yes. No. That's exactly how it is.
And this is really interesting. One of my really good friends, Taylor, we were talking. And I was talking about the guys who I'm seeing. Because, I was talking to a few different guys. And I said, they're okay. And Taylor said the most powerful thing. She says, but you're not an okay woman. And when she said that, it changed everything for me. So I love that they're protected. But you know what also it creates? It creates these young men and these young women, when the time comes when they're really dating or going off to college, they're going to look at someone differently.
Correct.
So you're really getting into not just saying, hey, here's an after school program, but here's a life-changing, life-impacting, right?
Yes.
Community, society, world impacting.
Yes, ma'am.
So where do you want to take Breaking Barriers?
To a revolution. That is what it's going to be. And I'm ready for it.
A revolution.
I used to be afraid of the idea because I saw the future of it. I know what it is. I know what it's going to be. And I used to be afraid. But you know what? It is what it is. Wherever I end up, whether I'm going to die by the sword, then that's what it's going to be. Yeah. But my kids, and when I said my kids, I'm talking the whole community. I'm talking about everywhere.
Yeah.
My kids are not going to be the product of the jail, prison facilities. Wow. They're not. It's not an option. And if you can't read, then we're going to make it happen to where you learn how to read.
Wow. So there's something that you mentioned about you do yoga.
Yes.
Which I think is such a powerful thing.
Yes.
Because I think in our schools now, we basically tell our kids, you're not following the rules, go to detention, you're suspended, you're expelled. So we put them out on the streets. or we send them to these alternative schools, right? Because you're considered bad.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to talk about what are some of the alternatives to punishments in school, because I've seen it where kids do yoga instead of detention, like they go to detention but it's yoga. So what made you decide to bring yoga or different things like that into the after school program?
I think it's important. We can't change unless we change ourselves. You can't expect anyone to change unless they are willing to change.
Yes.
Right? So, and change begins internally.
Yes.
So our concept is to change from the inside out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I happen to know, because I practice yoga and meditation, I happen to know that it brings a calmness. I used to be one of those kids.
Yeah.
Right? So I can also relate
Yes.
to the frustration. Yes, do they talk back? Of course, they're teenagers.
They're
They're going
teenagers.
through changes. But at the same time, they're people.
Yeah.
They have feelings, they have emotions. And we know teenagers, their hormones are all over the place. Right? And so that will calm their thought process, their anxiety. Some of these kids don't want to go to school simply because they can't read. But if you took the time to understand why he or she is acting up,
Right.
you will, detention,
Right.
expulsion, none of that
Right.
would ensue, because you will understand what he or she is going through. So therefore, you will create a platform that will actually help them.
Right.
Meditation,
Wow.
yoga, writing, such as journaling. We do journaling in the program. You know, those things help to calm and to center.
And to bring all of that
Absolutely.
stuff out.
Absolutely.
I do journaling, I do meditation, and I know what it helps me with. So this is really interesting, because I think sometimes, you know what, can you imagine you're born and then you're in sometimes some of these communities, I feel, because your home life is rough.
It's crazy.
And then you go into school where you're fearful. You're walking through drug dealers to get to school.
Right.
You are being maybe abused at home. All of this stuff is happening, and then you get into school, and then your judgment
Correct.
at the age of 7.
Yes.
And then here's breaking barriers. And I see breaking barriers being in schools, after school programs.
That is my goal.
I see them being out, and I think that that's what's so passionate. This is what I love, is that the reason why this show happened is because I interviewed someone and they said, oh, you remind me of Oprah. And I said, guess what? You might never go on Oprah, but you're always going to have a seat here.
That's right.
To share what's going on in your life. So I would ask you this then. How do you start your day? Because there's certain questions I ask every guest because I think it's important to understand. How do you start your day?
I have a routine. I get up, do yoga, about an hour, meditation about another 30 minutes. Then I plan out my day according to how I'm led. Because oftentimes if I try to plan the night before, that morning, child, it's a whole different plan.
It always.
So I flow with life.
Yeah.
And I've learned that. I've come a long way with that. To just flow with life. But I cannot start my day without meditation and yoga.
Your foundation.
That's my foundation.
Yeah.
Period. So that's about 5:30-ish, 6 in the morning that I get up.
You mean you make the time for yourself?
Absolutely.
I think that is probably one of the biggest things, is that you have to give yourself the time to take care of yourself. We're always rushing.
Right.
And then we reach for the phone.
Right.
Versus here's the space to say and to do that. And I love that you said you flow.
Yes.
Because I think that that's so important to see what's happening, and especially what you're doing. And I'm going to ask you this question, maybe, just maybe, I'm going to combine them. I said, what can you do to make the world a better place? And then what is the one thing you do to live your life with purpose?
I listened to my higher self. And that was another journey. We all have higher self.
Yeah.
And it's funny because on my way here in the car, my higher self is like, girl, you're gonna be all right, and I'm like, literally having a conversation with my higher self, and I'm like, I'm sure people looking at me like she's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I listen to my higher self because my higher self always direct me into the right path.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress that enough, that Whether you don't believe in meditation or you don't believe in yoga, prayer is meditation. But pray. Have some type of foundation.
Something.
Yes.
Because the world driving
Correct.
from here to there can just throw you off.
Very stressful.
Right.
It's very stressful. And I share that a lot with my kids. They're my kids. I'm not allowed to date, and if I'm dating, they got to see who it is that I'm dating.
Wait.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh! So they don't only take and look at them like the brothers and the sisters, the girls and the boys. They're looking at you also.
Yes.
Good for them.
Oh, yes.
I love that because I would tell you, I think kids can sniff you out.
Oh, yes.
So I think from now on, I'm just going to bring a guy down to your kids and say, what do you think about this guy? No.
No, go.
That's awesome.
I know you weren't thinking about talking to that man. Any conversation, we could be in an event.
Yeah.
And I'm just having a conversation.
Sure.
No.
They'll be like, mm-mm.
And I'm like, it was just a conversation.
Right.
But no, that's
so, the fact of it is, like you said, you were one of these kids.
I was.
Do you think that being one of these kids and being through the trials that you went through and being that way led you also, because it's domestic violence, because I think being in that space, whatever you grew up with, it's almost like you have these transitions.
Correct.
So, yeah. I look at it that what you went through, and if you value yourself, do you get into that? And sometimes you get into these relationships thinking it's one thing because you just want love.
Listen,
I
had no idea I would have ended up in a domestic violence type of relationship / marriage. Because I was determined. I didn't want to be like my sisters, because my sisters experienced it. My mother experienced it. I just didn't want that for me.
Yeah.
But it was subtle.
It was always
very subtle.
And we don't pay attention to the signs. We don't pay attention
to the signs. And the signs were there. I ignored them.
The signs are they're like in Vegas when you see the signs. And we choose not to look at that because we are so desperate for someone to say, you're okay. And
we want to believe and see the true good side of each individual.
Yeah.
Right? And that's always me. I have a friend that always tells me, you always have a kind heart for the wrong folks. And it doesn't have to be a relationship. It just could be anybody. And she's like, here you go again, picking up a stray. Let them figure it out on their own. But that's just how I'm an empath. So I feel everything. Yeah. Without you saying anything. Mm-hmm. So instantly I gravitate to certain people because I'm trying to help them. I'm always trying to help someone. But I'm learning. Listen, life is short, but I'm still learning.
I know. I'm just gonna give you that look. I'm gonna give you the half head turn.
That's the look she looked like. Really?
Give you because you know what? I want to always make sure you're up to something. Yeah. And being, I'm not only on your board of directors for the organization. I'm on your personal board of directors. Correct. And that means that if I have to shake you or I have to get on the side with the kids, we can do little numbers. He's a 7, he's a 5. Nope. It's like this, on one of my favorite shows is Say Yes to the Dress. And so sometimes they'll have a little thing and they come in there and they're like, vote on that. And they're like, nope, yes. So we can do that now for you, okay?
Listen, I'm not in a rush.
Well, and that's what I am. Because of what I'm up to, I'm not in a rush to be in a relationship. My guy's going to come. And I have this vision of him when I'm speaking because I love to speak. So I have this vision of him. I'm going to be on stage and I'm going to look off to the right. And he's going to be there holding my purse, being so proud of, and until the man comes that holds my purse on the side of the stage, right? Yeah, that's not, no, that's not. But I think that's so important. And I love the fact that what you've done is you've taken your pain. Yes. You've taken, you moved also. So here you were married, children, being abused, being in this relationship, you picked up and you moved. Yes.
Whole different state, new life, from the beginning. I left everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything in a divorce, because to me, starting over meant starting free. And that's what I wanted. I wanted my name back, and that's it.
Oh, you did a Tina Turner.
I did. I told that
you did
I
want my name back.
That's it. And child support for my child and healthcare. And that's it.
And that's powerful because I think a lot of times, I know when I went through it, I was like, you keep everything. It's okay. It's okay. And I love it because I think on the other side of the fear is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the other side of really being obedient to what God has or what's really for you is freedom.
And I've never been a materialistic person.
Yeah.
I don't hold on to material things. You know?
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So if you were to say this, how do you handle failure then? And how do you decide to leap and go for it?
Listen, I give myself 24 hours. That's it.
Oh, that's great.
I'll give myself the cry, you know, and the, oh my God, I can't believe I left and I'm back up and running.
Wow.
That's it. I don't harp on it any longer than 24 hours.
I have a new thing. Pastor Joel Osteen said, he says, I look at things and I'm saying, you know what? Okay, don't worry. No worries. No worries.
And folks don't understand that.
No, they look at it like something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Something happened and I was like, no worries. Yeah. And so that's my thing. And I forget how, like, I say no worries so much. So I love that you do your 24 hours and then you're like, hey, that's there it is. So how is it that people can support Breaking Barriers?
Okay. What we really love is mentorship. Give an hour of your time. We're there Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:30 to 6. But call ahead of time because we do have off-site field trips that we plan. We do have a calendar. We are working on our website so the calendar will be visible.
Okay.
And folks can know when to come when we are actually physically there. But for the most part, we're there. You can donate. Contact us at info@bbarriers.org. And we'll send you information.
So info at B, the letter B?
Yes. The letter
Barriers.org.
.org.
Okay. And then you can also reach out here and she is tagged, Yali is tagged, so you can go ahead and reach out to her. This is what we're about. This is not saying, well, it's not my child.
Right.
It's I'm not in that neighborhood. This doesn't happen. This is what it's really about is making the difference. And you know, reach out to her and see because I cannot wait to come down there and hang out with you guys.
Oh, you'll have a blast.
I know, and do a field trip and do all of that. And if you're going to leave everyone here with one statement, one thing that you want to say, to share for them, for the women, the men, anyone who's watching, what do you want to share?
Be true to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Because when you giving back that energy, you want to give back the energy of love because we feel it. And that is the only thing I will say is be true to you because then it will flow. Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing. And I think that what you're doing is so incredible. And what's really exciting, we were talking about this before we went live, is that I'm going to do a field trip in the next few weeks. And we're going to get Yali, along with a couple of her kids, to share. Because I think what's really important is this. When you stop and you see one of the kids and you understand who they are, that makes all of the difference.
Absolutely.
It makes all of the difference. So stay tuned for that show in the next couple of weeks. So one of the things that I always end with is I always say, tell them your name and say, I am this woman, because I think that's just, and this is what you're creating, this is what you're doing. And I'm so honored to be a part of this. I'm so honored that you said, that you said yes from the first time I reached out to you, and then that you went ahead and you asked me to be on the board. And I cannot wait to see what we create and what we do.
Yes.
Right?
I'm excited.
I am so excited. So please let them know who you are and tell them.
My name is Yali Giovanni, and I am this woman.
And I am Barbara Hort, founder and host of I Am This Woman. And you are damn skippy. I am this woman. And I will continue to make a difference in this world. Thank you so much. And stay tuned next Friday for a really special Valentine's Day show with a super special guest. I cannot wait to tell you who it is. I'll tell you next week, but stay tuned. And just remember, you want to give, you want to donate, Breaking Barriers, reach out to Yali, get in touch with her. There's so much that you can do to make a difference. Thank you. Take care. Peace.